Hello, everyone. It's Lisa Starr, the Grow Well educator with We Work Well, and I'm here today with a fascinating company that I think pretty much everybody in wellness needs to hear about. But first, just an introduction for We Work Well. We are the premier hosted buyer event globally for high-level executives from leading suppliers with pre-selected buyers in the wellness and hospitality industries. So we have our events around the world. They are 2 to 3 days. They are scheduled one-on-one meetings, the suppliers with the high-level buyers, as well as networking activities, educational opportunities, community and give back and purpose and exercise and fun. So our next event will be November 6th through 9th in La Jolla. If anyone is interested in joining us, please reach out. We met today's participants at our last event in Charleston, so I'm happy to introduce two people. We'll begin with Dr. Patrick Porter, who is the creator and founder of the company BrainTap, and Nicholas Saldestani, who is the CEO and chairman of the company. So welcome to both of you.
Thanks for having us, Lisa. It's great.
It's our pleasure. The topic we're going to discuss today has so much relevance in today's world because everyone wants to be well, right? And wellness has never had so much attention as it does now. Everybody wants to go to the spa or have massages or exercise or eat right and do the things they need to because we've had this recent, COVID issue. And people know that their health is in their own hands and they want to take control of it. So they've been doing all the things we've been telling them to do for years. But here's the thing. We can go to the spa or go for the walk, but how do we change the habit and the will, right? So that we do it all the time, so that it becomes ingrained. And this particular feature is what you can do with a BrainTap device. So Dr. Porter is a neuropsychologist, and he has come up with this program that combines hardware and software to help us sort of redefine how our brains work. So Dr. Porter, I hope I gave a reasonable, rough introduction, and you can take it from there. Why don't you tell us how BrainTap works?
Okay, it consists of your app. You can use it on any phone you want with your own earbuds or headphones, whatever you like. That's one way to use it. Or you can use it with our headset. And I'm going to explain both of them, but let's first talk about the app.
Yes.
Because when you're listening with the app, there's going to be different technologies involved with the app. You're going to have isochronic tones. Everyone listening has experienced isochronic tones, whether you've went to the ocean, sitting down, relaxing, that's a 10 hertz frequency because the body of water has a residency and our body mirrors that. The science that's behind all of this is called frequency following response. So there's a frequency to that. So it relaxes you. So that isochronic tone you can listen to in a mono room. So you can even put this by your bed if you wanted to at night to go to sleep, and the playing would help you to sleep better. We also have with isochronic tones, we layered it with binaural beats. Now, binaural beat is something where we're going to put different signals in the ears. Like, let's say we want to get an alpha like that ocean wave. We're going to put a 310 hertz frequency in one ear, a 300 in the other. The brain will actually hear a phantom sound of 10 hertz frequency.
The difference between the two.
The difference between the two. And this is because our ears are always listening. In fact, they're processing about 25,000 pieces of information every second. So we have to have very unique sounds to get a cortical response in the brain, which simply means that the brain will follow it through all the noise. And we've all had the experience where we went to a friend's house and they lived next to a paper mill, or we said, how can you stand that? Well, if it's the same sounds, just like that person living near the paper mill, they won't smell that anymore.
They don't hear it anymore, right?
Because the nervous system turns that off. It's very specific. And that's why we have so many sessions. On the app itself, we have 1,800 sessions and more. We add more every month because the world is changing all the time. We need to keep it going. So that's two of the technologies. The third is music. Most people don't realize that music, like the music you might hear at the symphony, when you're sitting there relaxing, that music is 10 hertz frequency. And they know something called the Mozart effect. When you listen to that music, our brain simply works better. And because it's working better, we get more out of that experience. So we've used that specific type of music. And the fourth thing you can do with the app is if you want to change your psychology, because we know that we talk to ourselves every day, and research shows that our 80,000 words a day, 60,000 of them are negative. Now, a lot of people watching might have been working on themselves, doing their thing. So maybe they only have 30,000 negative messages, but we need to consistently upgrade our thinking because we're always being bombarded by information, and how our brain processes that information really creates our neuroplasticity that will make us make good decisions or bad decisions. So we want to keep upgrading our what we call brain plasticity at BrainTap, but scientifically you'll see it out there as neuroplasticity. We want to change the way the brain processes information. Now, if you want to upgrade the experience, you'll have the app. You can add the headset that I showed you earlier, and I'm going to show you a little bit about what's in that.
So what are all those lights?
Yeah. Well, light is the most underprescribed nutrient on earth, believe me. Most people know somebody who has SAD or seasonal affective disorder. This is because they're not getting light. Our cells have something called chromophores. These are little batteries that store light energy, sound energy, and vibrational energy. So it does it all day long, all the time. And we're going to feed it the right frequencies because there's light that's good for you and light that's bad for you. This light in the eyes that you're seeing here, that light is really good for you. It's 470 nanometer light. In fact, we have a study going on right now that's going to prove, 2 studies we already did at Quantum University, that we help to relieve the pressure of macular degeneration. We've already had 2 studies doing that. We have a really strong professional one doing it. So when you watch these, also we have studies that show how we reset the circadian rhythm so that you can sleep better, like in our
So wait, those are going to work when my eyes are closed?
Yes, you can, if your eyes are open, it's not going to hurt you at all because this is natural light, 470 nanometer light. There's only 8 LEDs. We're actually working with optic nerve, the optic nerve number 2. So the cranial nerve 2, that's going to bring in the information to the brain. So they don't have to know that. That's why your eyes are closed. People, how will it work? It's working more to activate the nervous system more than it is the retinal system. And the eyes are part of the brain. So if we want to bring light into the brain, the eyes are one of the best places because the eyes have 300 times more mitochondria than the brain, which is the energy in the cell. So it's going to absorb that energy. That's what mitochondria does. It's looking all the time for energy. It absorbs it and then uses it to service it. Now, to get more light into the body, we put lights in the ears. Now, this is important because in order to sleep, in order to make good decisions, in order to function better, if we want to think, sleep, and perform better, we need energy. And throughout the day, that energy is going to be depleted. So if we can get energy into the body, what happens through the ears is all the blood in the body goes through the ears every 3 to 5 minutes. And light is absorbed by the hemoglobin and then circulates through the body and finds where the body needs that light the most, which means where a cell is going to die. They call it apoptosis in science. But the light from the ears are important because that blood flow goes directly to the brain. So we're all about the brain. How can we get energy into the brain so that you can think, perform, and sleep better? And so if you're thinking better and you're in the right brain frequency, whatever you do well now, you're going to do better tomorrow because you have more energy, you've rehearsed it, you've practiced it, and you perform at that level.
So these lights in my ear are going to affect the blood that goes to my brain? And that helps my brain how?
Well, the more blood flow and circulation, what happens with light is you're going to get vasodilation, which means blood flow improvement.
Right.
Everywhere there's a blood flow, your body, and this is physiology 101, everywhere there's blood flow, there's going to be a lymphatic vessel formed. So those spa practitioners probably know that lymphatic drainage is really important. But if you don't have the pathways to get the toxins out of the brain, they don't get out of the brain. You have foggy brain, you get headaches and things like that. So the side benefit is that you're basically giving a better path for the garbage man to take out the trash and help you to think better in the morning.
That's fascinating. My question before we turn to Nick for you, Dr. Porter, is how long will it take me if I get myself a BrainTap and I sit down and I start with the app? How often should I use it and how long before my brain begins to respond?
Right. Well, first of all, I'll get to that, but it only takes one new thought to rewire the brain. That's what neuroscience says. So if we can get one new thought in there, a constellation of neurological activity happens and the person changes. Like they sleep better that night, or they start looking at food differently, or they don't get as stressed driving. Those are things that will happen almost immediately for most people. But what we find is we have a 21-day jumpstart that seems to be like magic for most people because there's so many. You know, when you look at 1,800, what do I do?
Yeah, right.
I designed that program actually with Nicholas because we wanted to have a way to show people. People are always asking, how did you get all these great results in your research? What did they listen to? How did they do it? So we actually published in a bundle those programs that get those awesome results, like the 70% improvement in sleep or the 49% neuroplasticity in 6 weeks. All of those things happen because they woke up in the morning and they started doing one of our AM programs. We call this digital coffee because it wakes up the brain.
I like that.
I'm a big one. I love coffee, but I don't drink coffee right away because I want my nervous system to come online. So I'll do my AM programs in the morning that wakes up my brain and gets me going and basically balances my brain. Because if you're not balanced, your brain, and also gets you thinking positive for the day. You know, we need to optimize our thinking every day because every day is different, new. Now, in the middle of the day, when the temperature drops in our environment, which by the way, everywhere in the world at 2 o'clock, our body temperature drops 2 degrees. That's telling us we need a nap, right? Because our bodies are designed to be on the Serengeti, but we're not going to take a nap. We're going to go get chocolate, a coffee or sugar or something like that. And so what we've designed is a whole program to recover. If you can listen to that 20-minute session and recover, what we've shown in our studies that we've done with our NeuroCheck technology is you can reclaim about 80% of the energy you had in the morning. So think about the productivity you'd have with 2 mornings, because we all know you get more done in the morning. People will say, schedule your most important meetings in the morning because your brain is fresh. Well, what they're really saying is you have energy. You have a full tank of gas. By the time you get to 2 o'clock, it's just like taking a long trip across the country. You got to stop and get gas every once in a while. So many people, they're trying to put gas in while they're still moving. It's better to, slow down, relax, let it happen, reboot, get out, like stretch your legs do whatever you need to so you can get back into the vehicle and be attentive and you make the best decisions. So that's it. Now at night, we find that because people have a dysregulated brain because of stress and anxiety, fear, and all the other things that happen in life, they will, when they hit the pillow, a good number of people will go right to sleep, but then they'll wake up at 2 in the morning. Or some people will just sit there and toss and turn when they hit the pillow until they go to sleep. Whichever way it is, what we want to do is teach you how to sleep. Now, that might seem weird to you, the people listening, but the reality is that we've not learned to sleep well because our body holds energy and we need to unravel the biological system to get to sleep. So we've designed a whole series. In fact, the Sleep RX program was voted the best sleep app in 2021 by Health Magazine. So you can, this one, it's all there for you. Just start at number 1, go through the process. It's so easy to use. You just press play and you begin to change. And each one is different. And I mentioned that because the reason somebody says, why do you have so many sessions? Our brain, just like going to the gym, if you do the same workout every day with your physical muscles, you're going to atrophy. You're not going to get the same gains that you want. The same is true with your neurological system. So we've designed a whole series of protocols that people can do just to mix and match, to have more fun training their brain than they thought possible. That's really what we're designing to do.
So again, Dr. Porter, could you speak for just a minute about how a consumer, how frequently and how many times a day and for how long they should use this device?
Right. I commonly tell the clients that I work directly with that 3 times a day is good, twice a day is better, and once a day is okay. You can keep the result actually in the clinical setting. We have about 3,000 clinics doing this, so we kind of monitor that too. And we found that as long as they do something every 72 hours, the nervous system really reboots every 72 hours. Now, if they're coming into a spa or a clinic only once a week, we do find they get measurable results. So the hard and fast rule is a little bit of something's better than a whole lot of nothing. So as much as they can do it, that's better, up to 3 times a day.
And each session is 20 minutes?
The morning sessions are only 10 minutes because we're not trying to do a deep brain regulation. We're just trying to get the brain balanced and get it going in a more motivated, positive way. And like we have concentration, focus, motivation. These are the kind of sessions for the morning to get you kick-started and going. In the middle of the day, they're 20 minutes. And some of them at night, depending upon your sleep and how you're doing it, we have some that run as long as 30 minutes so that you don't stay awake for that. Most people will check out in 7 to 15 minutes, and that's okay. Just let it play out, shut off, and you go to sleep. And now you're in a deep cycle of sleep, which just to kind of tell the people, if you're not getting deep sleep right now, you're not cleansing your brain, you're not detoxifying. That's key to it. And, that's the key to that deep sleep. That's why it's so important. And the nice thing is 70% of Americans hit snooze at least once on their alarm.
Mm.
So have your BrainTap there by your bed. Instead of hitting snooze, hit play to change. And now you've set your day off right. At night, you're just laying in bed anyway. Just hit play, go to sleep. So the only time you really have to put into your day is that afternoon session. And if you miss that one, you can do it when you get home from work. You don't have to do it right at 2 o'clock or something like that. You do it just sometimes during the day, because when that buildup happens, I tell people it's almost like washing your car. Some people will let their car get really dirty. You want to clean it off daily and you keep it shiny and bright. That's how you want to keep your brain working really efficiently.
So last question for you, Dr. Porter. If I am a decent student and I use my BrainTap device, let's say once to twice a day, how many days will it be before I start to feel different?
You'll start to feel different right away.
Really?
90% of the people will feel like they've just been offloaded a bunch of weight on their body, because the body, think of the body like the hard drive to a computer. The software is your mind and what you're thinking, but you store it psychosomatically in the body. So as you start to release that stress and tension, what I love is when people get up from doing their first session and they go, wow, what just happened to me? They don't even know what happened, because they've never felt de-stressed. They've been living their life. It's like the story of the frog in the boiling pot. The pot was brought slowly to a boil. They didn't realize it. We got them out of the pot for 20 minutes or 15 minutes, and they went, I don't want to jump back into that pot anymore. And they're gonna solve their own problems at that point.
Well, sign me up. It sounds awesome. That's probably what Nicholas Saldastani said. Nicholas is a serial entrepreneur and a venture capitalist who has worked for Oracle and in Saba Software, big tech companies, and he came across BrainTap and decided this was something worth investing in. So welcome, Nicholas, and could you tell us a little bit about how you came to join the company?
Wonderful, and good to see you, Lisa.
You too.
You know, what I'm always looking for are companies that are solving a monstrous problem. And we today, more than ever, are recognizing that brain health and brain fitness and how the brain engages is absolutely critical. It's not just about what we eat and the supplements we take. It's not just about how we move our body and the physical exercise we do. We've got to get the brain engaged. And people that are looking to think better, to perform better, to sleep better, are recognizing the importance to put effort into this department of overall brain health. And so when I saw this, I immediately saw an opportunity to grow a business. Dr. Porter had done a fabulous job of getting the business off in its first 3 years. He had taken all of his life work and put it into this company called BrainTap. He had moved all of his technology from, independent units to the mobile device. And so it allowed for us to now look at, as Dr. Porter talked about, the opportunity for people not to have to get a headset, but just immediately just download the app, and with just any pair of headphones, or even listening to it like on the side of a bed, to benefit. Now, of course, as Dr. Porter talked about, there are more benefits as you do more. So in other words, if you just put it on the side of your bed like this, you're going to get about 3 of the 7 protocols that we focused on. If you add headphones, you get 4 of the protocols. And then as you add the headset, you add another 7 protocols. And the more protocols you have give you a deeper experience. And that intrigued me a lot, because it allowed for people to sort of grow with us. You don't have to run to the store and buy the headset. And so the business model was right. They had proved out through science. That's another thing. How many wellness products do we hear about? I don't know about you, but I go down the aisles and I see all these supplements. I see all these things. What really works? I don't know. But when I have a company that has, basically years of research, and it's all combined and it's all out there, that really helps me understand. So in my due diligence process in the company, things like Seminole College down in Florida, where their golf team uses BrainTap, they have a whole page on their website that talks about how much brain tapping has helped that team win the Nationals 3 times. When we look at the athletic community, every single week, there seems to be a new athlete that wins at their sport. In the Madison Square Gardens this weekend, we had another this is a fighter who won at the game got #1 in front of the entire audience at Madison Square Gardens, BrainTap, raving about BrainTap. People that just everyday people like myself and you that just want to get more out of life. We know the importance of diet and exercise, but how does that translate into a bigger picture of wellness when you add brain health and brain fitness? So when I saw all this, I was like, this is not only something where I see from a venture capital standpoint, an investment standpoint, the opportunity to invest and make money, but I also saw a way to really make an impact on this world. We are so stressed out. We don't sleep well. There are numbers that exceed 75% of all ailments are because of bad sleep. And then all of a sudden it's like, you know, this, why is sleep so important? It's because we're building brain plasticity as we sleep, neuroplasticity, scientifically known as neuroplasticity. And we're building that. If we don't build enough of it, our day is horrible. In fact, we are more stressed, we don't think well, and we have a hard time the next night sleeping. So all these things made me go, this is a great investment opportunity. And I was chairman for a couple of years. And then as I got basically more and more involved, I saw this whole world of brain fitness with the meditation apps like Calm and Headspace, which are awesome, and all sorts of other technologies that were coming to help the brain get more engaged. And I was like, this is too much fun. And so Patrick and I talked, and I ended up signing up, in addition to my chairmanship as CEO, to lead the company into the next phase. And this is really my expertise. I'm a tech guy, and in essence, you know, we're in the wellness world, but, you know, we sort of made the Reese's peanut butter cup. We took great wellness and great technology, put them together. And as a result, we have now an offering that really does something that very few people do, which is really help us change. It's not, I love my Oura Ring, I love my Whoop, I love my Apple Watch, I love my Fitbits, but those are just measuring what's going on. That's not helping me change. And
that's so true, Nick.
Yeah, it really, I mean, and that's good. You know, this is, I should say, this does help me change a little bit, because guess what? I now am cognizant that I need to change. But for example, since I last saw you, I have been working on the weight. We have a whole thing on weight management and weight wellness, we call it. And I have been going through that program. It has naturally shifted my diet because of what I hear. And then I did plug in a particular system I was intrigued by. But my brain is into the game of getting my body in a better fit state. And I am down as of today 20 pounds in the past, well, since I last saw you, which is about—
You know, I didn't want to say anything, but you definitely have a very sleek look. So well done.
So, you know, I mean, again, it's not that what we're doing is we're making the will. I mean, I'm not hungry at all. I'm so excited about what I'm doing. And that's really what, again, coming back to why I invested in BrainTap and why I joined the company, is it is something that helps us change. And Patrick talked about all of the different sessions we have. Well, we can dial in what you want to change, which is really fun. What is it that you want to change in your life? Is it just sleep? Is it other things? And, you know, we've looked at this as a offering that allows you to dial in exactly what you want. And we have a new app coming out in October. It will actually hit the markets in September, but it will be in a beta form. But so you'll still be able to download it the minute Apple says yes to us. But this will have things like BrainTap scores. It will have a much more guided experience. It will tell you, you know, what Dr. Porter talked about, which was, you know, the morning, afternoon, and evening. I will tell you right now, there is a big difference between doing this frequently and doing it once in a while. It's no different than going to the gym. But just like we have gyms where sometimes we go 3 or 4 times a week, a lot of us have gotten a few pieces of at-home equipment to sort of fill in the gap. We have a yoga mat, so we're going to do a yoga class because I can't really get to the gym today. Or we have some weights in the corner because we're going to do a few weights while we're at home. And so what's great about this is we can blend right in to the wellness centers, as well as allow the wellness centers to have their customers take home our product. So it kind of does a nice matching between at-home use and in clinic use. In fact, a lot of the wellness centers today are offering IV drips, and they're offering light therapy, the red light therapy, and they're offering all sorts of things. And we can actually stack with that, which is very exciting because we're able to do both the, have both the stacking side of this. In other words, you can do 2 or 3 things at once, as well as, get the benefit of whatever we're stacking with.
Well,
So
that's great lead in there, Nick, because I was thinking, well, let's talk about how, if I'm a spa or wellness or hospitality business, how can I incorporate BrainTap into my business model?
Yeah, and that's exactly, I mean, what I loved about this company from the start is that they took it very seriously to empower the partnerships. In other words, this company is not about selling to the partner. This company is about selling through the partner. In other words, partnering up and working with that operation so that they can serve their customer best, their client best. So we can start as simply as a wellness center sets up a zero gravity chair or sets up a red light therapy bed or whatever, and they can either do stacking or they can have it by itself, and they can offer brain tapping services. They can charge for that, or they can make that a freebie. The best part about this is that it's actually going to be something that's not manned. In other words, I know that a lot of wellness centers, after being at your excellent conference, really were looking for tools to be able to offer services without having any humans involved. And
so true, so true.
So this really we do allow for that. So that's step one. But after they've experienced it, let's say we're talking about a hotel, so they've been there for a week. Now what are they going to do? Well, guess what? That same wellness center can sell the BrainTap headset to that client home with them.
Excellent. Okay. And then so the client can buy the device from a wellness or hospitality venue, and then they can subscribe or whatever, get the software on their own.
Yes. And the best part about that is that we are set up to provide the headsets for in-store purchase. We're also set up to do it online. So if spas are looking for a Christmas bundle to send to everybody, or a wellness center is set up, or a hotel is set up to send out, these are the top products we're selling this year, we can be part of that because we can actually drop ship directly to the wellness center's client base. And so that we can sell, as I said, in the store, online, and the subscription, of course, is sold online, but the wellness center benefits. In other words, we are looking to partner up where there is a revenue share in that process so that the wellness centers benefit from whatever way the client gets it.
Well, this is all excellent information, and I want to thank you both for joining us, Dr. Patrick Porter and Nicholas Aldestani, but also for thinking of this and combining it in a way that is so practical to use every day. I look forward to rewiring my own brain sometime soon. So thank you again for joining us.
All right.
Thank you.